Welcome to Coxie's Picks. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Coxie's Picks. Today we were going to do a review on the Special Activities Development Tool from Oscar Delta. It comprises of a hook, a bypass and a shim. However, they are far too chunky, and the only set of cuffs that I've actually had these work on was a set of TCH. So I thought to myself, these cost £18 delivered. £18. That means that I could have two fully serviceable jackknives, or we could try and make our own. So now I know that I've gone slightly over budget, but bear with me on this. I think you'll enjoy the results. So what I went and did was I bought some Sparrow shims, because I know the Sparrow shims work. So we've got a normal and we've also got a split. I've got from Lawlock's tools. Andy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I meant no harm to your tools. They are awesome. This is why I picked them. We've got a bypass knife, and from the Echo range, I couldn't decide which profile would be best suited. The one with the bulb or the one with the flat peak. So I thought, why not both? So the plan was simple. Cut them off and then reshape them, attach them to a keyring, and then see if they work. Well, here's the finished results. So far so good. Now I would suggest that this is only a prototype. I do need a smaller keyring or maybe a pop rivet to hold them all together. However, we are in at £21, so £3 more. But do they work? Well, for the testing, the same as what I was going to do on the S.A.D, I've got a TCH, an ASP, a Smith & Wesson, and a Peerless 850. Now I chose those particular cuffs because they've all got various different traits, and they are also the most common brands that can be around. So first things first, let's try and get rid of that double lock on the TCH. So double lock set. We go to our new development upgrade and we pick a hook. I mean, we could do it with a straight edge. We've seen Parker do it with a straight edge, but let's try it with a hook. So the only thing is I'm quite used to using straight edge attacks, so it may take me a couple of seconds to find it. But once we're in, so sorry, notice that the clearance on the Lawlock's tools is fantastic for getting in and around and just rooting around inside a handcuff. All torque, there we go. Right, double lock disengaged. Now we've got a couple of options because this is TCH. We could use a straight edge attack, or we can use the shim, or we could use the actual hook. Now because we know that it's a multiple pull, using the hook's a bit of a hit and miss because you need to catch all three at the same time, the same as a straight edge, but we'll give it a go. And we've got it with a straight edge. And then to shim it, we know that we need to use the rounded one. So over the top, wiggle it down. Oh, something's got in the way. Let's try that again without being quite so energetic. So in we go over. I think what happened then is I slipped into the actual plastic sleeve because I'm a numpty. There we go. So I think what happened is I slipped in the plastic sleeve and went down this way. But regardless, TCH, easily done with our upgraded tool. So moving on, let's pick the ASP. Alright, yes, I know I've bottled it by going with a single pull, but that is the most common seller in the US, so it makes sense to use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the key to set the double lock. We're then going to reach in with our straight edge because that's nice and easy, or we could use the hook. The possibilities are all over us. To shim it, we can use anything, a bus pass, I don't know, maybe an actual key, hundreds of different items because it's a huge old slot, right? But what we will do instead is we'll use the bulbous pick, go in it around the keyway. Most of these tricks will involve us having to go start at the top of the keyway and then just reach around. Oh, it's the first time for everything. Stand by. Hold the phone cooler. I did get the double lock, didn't I? Yes. Around. Does it show that I practice a lot with Parker rather than actual tools? Let's try it with a straight edge. Ah, right, okay, that explains it. This particular model, the plastic's rubbing up against it, so just to humour it, let's go back around again. There we go. Right, so that's being caused by the body polymer pinching against this. We did actually get it, but I forgot it was my test set. So, moving on to the popular Smith & Wesson. This is the M300s. Doesn't matter, I've only chosen these because they were the first set to hand. It's the mechanism we're interested in. Let's set that double lock. Right, and just so that you know that I'm not telling porkies, we'll get the S.A.D. Right, look how much of a chunky monkey that is. I can't even get it in. It's refusing to go in, so we wouldn't be able to detach the double lock. So we're now going to get our Lawlocks tools, and we're going to pick the nice bulbous one to give us the best chance. In it goes. Gone in this position. We've now got our pick at the top. It's harder to get the pick back out, honest. Double lock, disengaged. Two options again, we can use a straight edge or we can use the hook. It's a single pull mechanism, so let's try it with a hook. In level, and voila, we're done. So far, so good. Now for the 850C. The reason I picked these ones, yes, they're peerless. They're not very common because they're the hinged. Right, however, it's the new mechanism. Again, that's all we're really interested in, is can it beat the mechanism? Because if it can beat the mechanism, then we are on to a winner. So, the problem we're going to have here is that the bar sits quite high up. So we're going to use our hook and we're going to lean back. It will take a couple of goes to find the bar. Once we find the bar, sorry, I'll get back in shot. See how I'm just moving the bar now? Lean back and it's away. Job done. So, now, what I have said in the past is that the 850C does have a very strong spring. It sits about there and you sometimes need to assist it. If you've watched my Parker videos, you'll see that I do indeed actually have to assist to get it out. When we're using the bulbous tip, it does give us an extra little advantage. So we've gone in at the top of the keyway, like I said, just to fit. We're then going to rotate the path of the keyway. You can feel that resistance. However, notice I was able to fully depress the single pull and get the cuff released. So, my thoughts. Apologies for the long video. This tool, I normally rave about Oscar Delta stuff. However, this, for all intents and purposes, even the shim is useless. It's just too thin, flimsy. The bypass tool, absolutely useless. Compare it to the Lawlocks one, right? Andy does some really nice work. This just looks like it came out of a Christmas cracker, right? I would suggest if you're planning on any sort of handcuff tricks and escapes and you're working on a budget, go with a jackknife. They're really easy to modify. If you wanted something a little bit flash and a little bit swishy, so it's got a high hit rate, then by all means make yourself one of these. Right, this is the prototype. I'm going to be sending one off to Silent but descriptive, just so that he can have a play around, and then we'll see what his thoughts are as well. But anyway, thank you very much for sticking with me all this way through. I know it's been a long one, apologies, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra!